This may yet be my most vulgar, hostile, angry, infuriated response that I have ever made. Hear me out here for a second before we get this rolling. I understand if you have a relationship problem with a loved one, or let's just say a relative, person's grandfather, for example. I understand that if you have a rocky relationship with that person, I get it. But respecting family is something that really considers something to be the division between being the bigger man and between the current status of this relationship, being that the grandfather is deceased, being a complete fucking asshole. Now, before I play this video, I'm just going to tell you just a little simple thing right now that's just really been getting out of my mind. This video actually came to me, and as it turns out, from what I've been told, that this video has been privated. Thankfully, an anonymous source actually linked me this video, or gave me this video, and I watched it, and in 1 minute, I was instantly pissed the fuck off. So, what I'm going to do is, we're going to show the video right now, and then I'm going to respond to it. It's about 12 minutes long. If you can sit through that, you know what, fine by me. But watch this, and then I will give you my entire input on this fucking shithole.
Alright, so if you've been following me on Facebook, and if you've seen my last Q&A video, you'd know that my grandfather recently died of a heart attack. And I just got back from the funeral thing that we had. It wasn't exactly a funeral, but a bunch of family got together and I was dragged to it. But anyway, I was planning on showing you guys footage of my grandfather actually having the heart attack. As soon as the paramedics got to the house, I took out my camera and started filming. But a bunch of people in my family, my mom, my grandmother, uncles, shit like that, they threw a big fucking fit about me showing that footage on YouTube. They're perfectly fucking fine with eating foods that cause fucking heart disease and make people actually die of fucking heart attacks. But when it comes to actually showing people what happens when they eat these foods, that's just too much. So, fuck it. I'm gonna just talk about, you know, the whole situation, my thoughts and feelings on the whole thing, so here we go. So, first off, I guess I'll tell you all how the heart attack happened and the events leading up to it. Well, my grandfather is really into, like, RC planes, helicopters, things like that, and he was really interested in seeing the drone I just bought, the DJI Phantom 3. So we went over to the park right down the street, and we headed down to the ravine to launch the drone from, and there's a bit of a hill going down. So we flew the drone, you know, he thought it was really cool and everything. We had to walk back up the hill, and he was really struggling, and it's not really that big of a hill, and it's not that hard to climb, and even an 82-year-old should be able to get up just fine, but he had to stop like every 10-20 feet, and he was huffing and puffing, and I looked at him and I said, you know, you have a really shitty diet, and you need to, you know, clean your diet up and start exercising. And then he said, oh, it's bullshit, you know, I'm just not 24 anymore, that's why I'm having such a hard time climbing up this hill. So we eventually got up the hill after a really long fucking time with him struggling, got into his car, drove back home. He plopped down on his chair in the living room. I went to my room to check out the footage. And then a few minutes later, my grandmother came into my room saying, I think Barry, my grandfather's name is Barry, is having a heart attack. Then I went out into the living room, saw him just not really being responsive, and yeah, he was having a fucking heart attack. I called 911. They told me to perform CPR on him until the paramedics got there. So I was performing CPR on him for a few minutes until the paramedics got there. Then I took out my camera, started filming, and of course you can't see the footage, but that's what happened. Now, why this heart attack happened, it's obvious. He was eating like absolute fucking shit. He had a heart attack about 60 years ago, and again, that was from eating like absolute shit, not exercising, and he's really fucking lucky to have lived this long. I think he has a genetic resistance to heart disease and cancer. There's no fucking way he should have been alive for this long, but he managed, and 20 years ago, he cleaned his diet up after that heart attack, and he started walking every day, and he was doing pretty well, but recently his brother got cancer, and his brother died, and I think that just, sent him kind of out of control and off the rails. And yeah, for the last few years, his diet was just fucking terrible. Ridiculous amounts of like red meat and pork and ice cream and shit like that. And I knew a few months ago he didn't have long to live. I even told my mom, I think back in like February or March, like he's not gonna make it to the end of the year. And yeah, I called it. He died because his fucking diet was absolute shit. He did actually get quite a bit of exercise. He was golfing every single day. He was bowling several times a week. He'd mow the lawn and, do all that stuff. So he wasn't just totally sedentary. It was 100% fucking diet that did this to him. And he lived to 82 years old, but, for everyone who says, oh, he's fucking 82, he lived so long, like, he could have lived so much fucking longer, and he is fucking lucky. His diet is so fucking bad. I don't think any of you could realize that. If any of you ate like him, you wouldn't have fucking made it to 50. Like, I swear he had to have had a genetic resistance to heart disease. There's just no way anyone could live that long otherwise. And, everyone thinks, like, oh, 82 is so long. He had such a great long life. He was golfing every day, like I just said. He was bowling. He was doing all these things that he loved doing, and I don't think he just wanted to die. He was a super active person, and he got to do the things he enjoyed every single fucking day. So for you to say, oh, he lived to 82, it's so fucking long, that's fucking horseshit. He died before he really wanted to, and he died in such a shitty, fucking violent, painful way. It's definitely not worth all of the fucking meat and dairy and eggs and junk food he ate. He gave up a fucking life that he loved for just this crap that fucking killed him, and saying that he lived to 82, that's just bullshit. He could have lived longer, he could have spent decades longer doing the things that he enjoyed, and he could have had a better quality of life. If you're having such a fucking struggle just walking up a little hill like that, I don't see how you could have a good life like that. And he liked being active, and, it might have been a real struggle for him for all these years to be as active as he was, and if he had gone vegan and had good arterial health, he might have enjoyed all the things he loved doing even more. So, for all of you who say, oh, I'll just fucking eat whatever I want, and, if I die at 60, 70, or 80, I'll be happy. Bullshit. There's so much to live for, and my grandfather, he was enjoying his fucking life, and it was cut short because of his stupid dietary choices. Now, how do I feel about him being dead? I'm actually happy. I've had a pretty rocky relationship with him, especially when I was a little kid. He was pretty abusive. He'd yell at me like fucking crazy, call me like a worthless piece of fucking shit if I didn't play well in hockey. He did hit me maybe 2 or 3 times pretty hard, and after that I was just scared of him my entire childhood, and as an adult, I ended up having a friend relationship with him, but I didn't realize until he was dead how much anxiety I had still being around him. Just these subconscious feelings were always there, but I just didn't realize till now, and I feel better with him being dead. I know my grandmother isn't happy about it. I don't know entirely how my mom feels, but she was crying about it. His other sons, they were upset, but I feel pretty happy about the whole situation, and I just feel like a weight's being lifted off my chest, and I just feel less stressed out, and it's been a good thing for me. So, closing thoughts. I know I didn't have the greatest relationship with my grandfather for my whole life, but I know a lot of people love their family members, and, if you want to do the best thing for yourself and for your family, then go switch to a Whole Foods vegan diet and make them switch to a Whole Foods vegan diet. All of this meat, dairy, eggs, and processed food is just going to help cut your life short. And if you're going to fucking tell me that, oh, your grandfather ate fucking horribly and he lived to 82, he got so fucking lucky you don't even realize. He should have been dead more than 20 years ago. He should have been dead by the time he was fucking 50. Chances are you're not going to be so lucky, and if you just eat whatever you want, or if you try these stupid low-carb fad diets and do this crap your whole life, you are going to cut your life so fucking short, and you're going to die before you really want to, and before any of your family members want to, and you're just reducing decades off of your own life, decades that you could spend with your family, loved ones, doing the things that you love to do. So if you want to have the longest life possible, the best quality of life possible, and spend as much time with your loved ones as you can, then a Whole Foods vegan diet is your best option. So that's all I really have to say on the situation, and I can't show you my grandfather having a heart attack, but here are some of the last moments I spent with him together.
What really fucking pisses me off about this entire video that I've seen, 11 minutes to 12 minutes you could say, watching through it, it only took me 1 fucking minute to get so pissed off. And I will try to tone down on the cursing of the F word, but everything else is just going to be pure on hostile. What's even more disgusting about this fucking human being is that the point that he tries to explain to people about his grandfather's death. So much I can even wrap around. He even mentions that he originally planned to put the recording of him recording his grandfather at that time having a heart attack at the same time. Now, how does this sound so familiar? Why does this sound so familiar to someone who's done this before? I sense a pattern emerging. Don't you? Oh yeah, I can name that pattern, and his name is so much referenced in so much of my... Let's just say my videos. Onision! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, again, we make another reference to Onision because Onision is the prime example of fucked up shit that goes on, and this happens to be no different from that stuff that you've seen. See, he originally had an idea to actually show footage of his grandfather having a heart attack to show to the audience. Does that kind of strike something as very shady to you, or something grotesque and disgusting and morbid about someone's actions? Gee, I don't know, being that you have 80,000 subscribers, and apart from having ads on your video, what do you think that would turn out to be? Exploitation! Might I also add that he actually had his camera out when the paramedics were there? Did I not mention that? Well, if I didn't, well, I did now. Now, despite the fucking relationship that you may have had with your grandfather, understandably enough that you may have had a rocky relationship, but still, for your mother, your uncles, your relatives, they all have a fucking means to be upset with you because you're filming him while he's effing dying. And you're saying that they're throwing a fucking hissy fit because someone's life is at stake? Are you really that fucking shallow? Are you really that fucking cold and heartless? You are one low-blowing piece of shit scumbag who does not care for the life of a human being, and what sickens me more about this, it really fucking sickens me at this point. You know what, screw it, I'm gonna say the fuck word whenever I want. I'll say it most times if I fucking want to, because I'm so pissed off that he uses this as justifications of being vegan. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you saw that video, if you watched all 12 or maybe even 11 minutes of it, you would clearly see that this entire thing is how he could put as a relation to it is that his grandfather, from his words, died because he had dietary problems. Dietary problems, which is kind of confusing on this hand because there hasn't been any evidence. There has been zero evidence to none proving on how he died, how he got that heart attack to begin with. And he actually claims it was a dietary problem. Really, just fucking really, because no shred of evidence was proven, no documentations which showed, and which I know that's kind of a little bit, redundant on my end to be asking, But if you're going to do something like that, at least show evidence that that's what really happened. A documentation or at least a recording of a fucking doctor proving this shit. Onision and Freely the Banana Girl were fucked up individuals that were so militant about their vegan views, and they had to bitch to people how people don't live their ways. But you VeganGains are one fucked up motherfucker who I make no fucking exception over. You are one low-blow, scum, degrading piece of shit. A heartless, cold son of a bitch, I may add. You are just in the bottom level of Onision and Freely. And yes, I am making that statement. You don't fucking like it, you fanboys and fangirls of this, you can kiss my fucking ass before you get your panties in a fucking twist. Learn this. If you're watching this guy's video, you should know obviously from a fact that if he actually had footage on there, which, for I guess what the fucking footage that I just saw on him saying that he originally intended to it, and that his parents or his family were having a hissy fit because he actually had footage on there, don't you think that would be fucking wrong? I mean, Jesus! Can't comprehend the stupidity and the heartless features from this person that you follow. What is fucking wrong with you? And I am so sorry to the people that are vegan that actually try to live a lifestyle in a civil manner between those who are omnivores and meat eaters, okay? I am so sorry that people like this, like Freely, like Onision, like VeganGains, abuse this sort of name, abuse this sort of repertory status of a vegan. Like a vegan community that has this share of abuse because of people like this, who think that they're always so morally superior to others, thinking that because you eat differently, you should be guilt-tripped, thinking because you eat differently, you are no better than any other human on this earth. It sickens the fuck out of me. And I hope to God that this guy gets a fucking reality check, and yes, I made that statement, and I am so fucking clear on that. And let's talk about those so-called events and that sort of stuff that happened during that led up to the heart attack, I believe. I guess you were in some sort of park, I believe. You were flying RC copters with your grandfather, and there happened to be a hill, and he happened to be 86 years old, right? Am I sort of missing anything here? Because, think about it this way, going up a hill, at an age like that, my great-grandfather was actually that old. And he couldn't even get up out of his chair. God rest his soul. If there is a God. But, you really think that because, he's lived a long time, don't you think that at an age like that, there could be serious, and obviously, a serious condition to that point, because, obviously, the cause of the whole heart attack was him eating what you could say, in your own words, a crappy diet. You fucking sicking bastard. You sicken the fuck out of me. You didn't give a single flying fuck. Now, understandably enough, that if you had this sort of rocky relationship with your grandfather, understood completely. But the love from your parents and from your relatives and your grandmother, to know to the fact that you enjoyed that your grandfather died, that is disrespect to your own family. Now, like I said before, I understand that the rocky relationship is something that really kind of complicates things. But still, being the fucking bigger man that you should have been when that sort of shit went down. When you were told to give CPR, all you fucking did, the only fucking thing that really came to my mind is that the only effort you did, and this is actually not saying much, by the way, the only effort is that you took out your camera while the ambulance was there while he was having his heart attack. That's the only thing that you managed to fucking do. And yeah, I am so fucking angry because you could have had a chance to be the bigger man. And to be a positive example to your family, to your fans, that you tried your best to help your grandfathers. As much as the fucking relationship between that went, you could have been the bigger man to that. But no, you enjoyed him having to die, didn't you? You said it yourself in your fucking video, so don't deny it, because I got it there. And in case this fucking video gets taken down, this video is going to be on fucking multiple sites. And before any of you actually get to some more angry issues here, let me just say that this is actually in fair use, by the way, because I'm also critiquing this, and I got my own passions, my own anger that I want to explain about this. So we are not done by a fucking inch. And also back onto my little tirade about the whole junk food, meat, and all that sort of stuff that you say all this and it's a justification for. Really? Get your fucking head out of your ass, you stupid horseshit motherfucker. You see me preaching my views onto you on how being a meat eater or being an omnivore? No! Okay? If you want to say that, okay, well, being vegan, well, there's some good dietary choices. I already made this fucking example before, but it should be obviously clear to a lot of people watching this. Don't force your fucking views or justify anything because something that happened to your relative, and which, by the way, if you don't back up with your effing facts from a doctor or from documentations, you should be making those claims in the fucking first place, especially when you're exploiting the death of your family member for some profitable gain. May I fucking remind you of that? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it kind of wrong to be doing that? Exploitation? Can we actually recall that sort of idea for that? Because, I don't know, because it is, in fact, morally wrong! Also, I kind of found it very weird that you actually made a smirk of a smile face when you said that you knew he wasn't going to live that long. He wasn't going to last to the end of the year. Pretty of a fucked up person you are. Regardless. I'm going to say it one more time, just so everyone is on the same page as me. Because I don't condone abuse. I don't condone any of that. If it's from your grandma, then shame on him for doing that. But I am going to say that it's bigger shame on you. You could have been the bigger man, but you chose to let someone die. And you didn't do anything about it. You didn't choose to help out. All you managed to do was to pick up a fucking camcorder, record the incident without doing anything whatsoever, which everyone in your family has the right to be pissed off about, so you can go fuck yourself on that part because you have no fucking moral values whatsoever. All you care about is indoctrinating people using these means of justifications because someone in your family died, like I said, with no evidence and no shred of proof to tell to your audience about that. Instead, you want to guilt trip people. You're just like Freely, you're just like Onision, you're just like all these stupid, retarded, militant vegans. And like I said, and I am so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I don't like categorizing, and I don't like generalizing, because I know there are a lot of vegans out in the world that respect the will and the way of life that people like to eat, okay? Let's just put it in that clear perspective, okay? That little plane that we can all agree on. It's respecting one's own lifestyle. Your life is your life, okay? People's lives do not revolve around what you say. It does not revolve around you. You don't need to be guilt-tripping people. It's not okay for you to be doing that. And it's not okay for you to be exploiting your grandfather's death or the cause of death to your audience. And it's certainly not okay for you to be a useless motherfucking piece of shit that lets someone die and you to be so fucking happy about it. And obviously, it's not so right when you think you're always morally right. When you know in this shit, and you know within your fucking mind and your fucking heart and your fucking morality and your little ego complex or whatever it is, you know that you're fucking wrong. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I am not saying that as a subjective statement. I am not saying that as an opinion. That is a fucking fact. From what I just saw in this fucking video, proves to me, and should prove to a lot of people that have seen this, and they have showed me, that this guy has no fucking morals whatsoever. Judging from this. Now, I'm not going to go all the way and say that he has no more, but maybe I should have phrased that a little bit more. But I'm saying at the way this goes, oh, no. Go to fucking hell, you dipshit asshole. I'm just going to end things off, despite the fact that I feel so enraged by what I've seen. But I'm going to end things off with a couple things that I want to state. If you have a loved one who is dying, regardless, sometimes it's best to be the bigger man or the bigger woman, depending on the gender, to be the bigger person in general. I guess that's the more appropriate way to say. To be the bigger person. Batman did it. He's a fictional character. How did that have any connection to do whatsoever? Well, you know what? He's a hero who actually saves people's lives, even villains. So let's just say that. So let's also say that your lifestyle is your lifestyle. But if you want to at least tell people, well, There's just some dietary gains to this or dietary gains to that. Perfectly fine. But you know what's not perfectly fine? Shoving your views, guilt-tripping people, exploiting the death of a loved one, and justifying it for people to turn vegan. You sicken the fuck out of me, and I don't want anyone else having to go through this sort of stupid shit. I don't want to have to be put up with this stupid message. This message is going the wrong fucking way. Video's right there, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to go back and watch it, go ahead, be my guest. I know I've said don't take my word for it, and almost every single video that I've said, but take my word for it that this guy is nothing more than a low-life piece of shit. A cold, heartless piece of shit. And that's how I'm going to end it off. There's a better way of sending the message. And it sure in hell ain't this fucking video. I'm not talking about mine. I'm talking about the video that I showed you. You guys should know better. And I'm not saying that to point fingers. I already know who I'm pointing the fucking finger at. VeganGains. So this is how I'm ending off. VeganGains, you suck balls. You are low-life, heartless, cold piece of shit. And I really think you are just like Onision. You're just like Freely. You fucking suck balls. I'm out. You can go fuck yourself. And for my audience, I will catch you later. Anyways, Thrashmetal grew angry with the rant.